What is up, everyone? JD Geeks here. Today, we are talking about probably my favorite Nerf secondary blaster. Although I really love the Venom Pro, and I think it's probably the best deal you can get, especially on store shelves. And I also like the Viper 200S. This blaster just takes the cake, in my opinion. I've been using a version of this blaster for a while now, and I really, really love it. Yeah, I have it in a holster on my hip, and whenever I'm like down and I need some ammo or some rounds shot off, it's very easy to just take this out and rip off a couple shots and then continue on. Today I'm talking about the Diana. The Diana has been a very, very popular secondary blaster in the hobby over the past couple of years. This blaster, in my opinion, is just absolutely amazing. I know I say that about a lot of the blasters. This blaster, I don't think there's a single secondary out there that can compete with this except for the new blaster that came out that's about the same price, the Lightning. The Lightning does have a better battery door. I'll talk about that with this blaster a bit, or a better battery situation. I'll talk about that a bit later with this. But this one's just a lot simpler to use, in my opinion. The selector switch, you have safe, semi, you can put it to 2-round burst or 3-round burst, and you also have full auto. And you can do it all without doing anything to the blaster, really. All you have to do is hold down the trigger, plug in the battery with a certain selection switch location, and then you're good to go. It's super easy, super friendly, and I think this blaster is just amazing for a secondary. I do have two versions of this, as I briefly mentioned earlier. I have the normal version of the Diana, then I have the 2025 version of the Diana. The only real difference between these two is the 2025 version has a metal trigger. It's kind of hard to tell, but it has a slimmer metal trigger, and this one has a slightly rounded plastic trigger. This one also comes with this little bit of silver that I painted orange, but this little bit of silver that sticks right out of the end, so you can do a B car or something like that. I did take it off and I spray painted it orange just so people would know, hey, this is a Nerf blaster. I did also take off the bottom of the blaster. I had another clear and white version, and I bought this blue version from Ideal Foam Blasters because I thought, why should I have a blaster that's pretty simple? Like, I wanted a little bit of blue on there because blue is one of my favorite colors. Now we'll talk about some of the issues with this blaster. This blaster is pretty expensive. It is around $200. Some of you might be thinking, $200, I could get a primary for that. You could, but no primary or any other secondary except for the Lightning, which is also $200, can really compete with this. It is a mag in the grip pistol. It's a brushless flywheel blaster. And then it comes with, as I've said earlier, semi, 2-round, 3-round, and full auto. This blaster is just really hard to beat, and I think it hits around 140 FPS, if I'm not mistaken. The only other issue, other than the price though, is the battery door. So I did get a 3D printed battery door, which is a little bit better than the stock one that I have on this version, where you have to unscrew with either a thumb screw or a normal screw, throw the battery in, and then try to cram this battery door shut and then screw it back in with the battery in there. This one here, you just pull down this little tab and then boom, it's open. You do still have to cram the battery in and then you close it right up. That is probably the hardest part of this entire blaster, is putting the battery in. So just to show you really quick, you take it, line up the XD30 connector, makes a little beeping sound, and then what I like to do is kind of fold in like this so the cord's as straight as possible. Then force it down into the end and then just kind of force this door shut. That's how hard it is to put this battery in. It's not super hard, and as you get used to it, it is a little bit easier, but it's just a great blaster overall. And just so you can hear the revving of the flywheels, if I put it on semi and I put it onto the automatic rev mode, there's a very slight hum to it. It's not a very loud hum. I've actually been pretty far away from people and they haven't been able to hear it. I think the closest people can hear it is around 10 feet, which you can get pretty close and you don't have to have the flywheels spinning. You can actually, so there's two ways to shoot it. I'll show you really fast. You can either have it in the rev up mode or without the rev up mode. So without the rev up mode, it does take a second to shoot off the shot. So if I squeeze the trigger now, it did have a slight delay, but it still obviously shot the dart. So if I switch it to the rev up mode though, you can hear the flywheels, but then as soon as I squeeze it now, oh, didn't go. Now it goes right off. So there are some slight issues with having the flywheels off as the delay time, but having them on, they could hear you. So that is a slight issue. I did hear that the Lightning is slightly quieter than the Diana, but the Diana, for the same price, I feel like it's a slightly friendlier platform. You don't have to do anything on the computer to change between 2-round or full auto. I just personally prefer this a little bit more, and I think it looks great. But that's enough talking about the Diana itself. Let's go take it outside, do some FPS testing and the accuracy, and then we will jump right into talking about it. I will see you outside. All right, everyone. We are now outside with the Diana. And I do want to show these are 10-round mags that only fit in this one blaster. And here are my Venom Pro mags, just to show you. They do kind of fit, but they don't click in. You do have to custom cut these, and these are actually Talon compatible, but there are new options now, which I do happen to have. These are the longer, I think they're 16, maybe they're just 15, but I have 15 rounds in here. I got 5 workers, 5 tees, and then 5 bamboos, and they fit right into the Diana. So you have a longer mag, which I think is awesome. So let's see what we get. So we got the flywheels revved up already, and let's see what we get with the worker darts. We got 144.1, 145.3, 140.0, and 136.4. Oh, we got one left. 144.0. So not bad. And now the T darts, we got 134.9, 134.3. You can hear how quick and snappy this blaster is. It's incredible. 131.9, 2 left. 126.3. That one seemed like a bit of an outlier. And finally, 130.6. All right, now we got the 5 dart zone bamboo darts. I don't think it'll change the FPS too much, but let's see. I don't know what happened there. So I'll actually grab another one because I think I just sniped the top of my chronograph, which is kind of funny. So let's see. We got 133.6. So it's actually not different at all. 148.3. 129.3, 139.9, And I think this is the last shot. 140.4. So very consistent throughout all of the darts. I'm actually pretty impressed. All right, so we now have the 15 worker darts loaded up, as I've done with all the other secondaries. So let's give it a test at the target from 50 feet, and then we'll move to the 25 and give it another 10 shots. So we got it revving up, and here we go. Oh my gosh, this is laser. Oh, hit, and last shot, hit. That was incredible. This from 50 feet away is shooting very, very consistently. It is almost like a primary, in my opinion. This blaster is so much better than all of the other secondaries that I've tested so far. And this one right here is, it's just incredible. It's honestly amazing. And all right, so we will now do 5 shots with the semi, and then we'll move on to full auto. So let's get going. Oh, just off to the right. Dead center, and last one. Look at that. Those shots are just really accurate. Those first 2 dialed me in, and then those last ones just ripping right down the center. But all right, now let's show you some full auto with this blaster. It does shoot extremely fast, so be ready. Look at that. All those darts gone in just a second, and almost every single one of them did hit the target. It doesn't leave dents like the Harrier or the Saber Apex Prime and just leave you needing first aid because you got hit by that. But you'll definitely feel it, and it can definitely rip off shots pretty quick and very, very accurately. This is definitely my favorite secondary, but let's talk about it a bit more inside. I will see you in the display room. Now that we're back from the accuracy test and FPS test of the Diana, let's talk about it a bit. Is it worth the price? In my opinion, absolutely. If you're debating between this and the Lightning and you want something with an easier battery compartment or with something you can modify a bit more yourself, I'd go with the Lightning personally. But if you want something straight out of the box, get a battery for it, get a couple extra mags, and you want to just run, this is definitely the one for you. It feels amazing, looks amazing. There are some good customizations for this blaster out there. It is absolutely incredible. I've used this in every game since I've gotten it, and it works amazing. If I'm ever in a corner or I'm ever running out of ammo in my primary, I'll just rush with my secondary. I can get a kill, and then I have time to either reload or like just reconvene, gather my thoughts, and then re-engage my enemies. I do, although that's a bit corny, I do really, really love this blaster. It is one of the blasters I've looked forward to reviewing the absolute most out of all of my blasters. My favorite blasters right now, my absolute top is the HQ G2 Max. This is my primary right here. This is my pride and joy. I absolutely love this blaster. I think it looks amazing. It feels amazing. It is absolutely incredible. I currently have it in my 200 FPS setup for my 200 games, and it just looks and feels absolutely incredible. My next blaster that I would choose is probably one that you guys would know. It's the Worker Harrier. I absolutely love the Worker Harrier. This is probably my favorite blaster, obviously after the G2, but this is probably my favorite blaster that I've had for the longest time. The G2 I got relatively recently, and I do love it, but this one definitely has a soft spot in my heart, especially the white version. The white version just looks so good. I absolutely love the Harrier, and this is something I would definitely get. My two primaries that I've always used with this Diana has been the G2 and the Worker Harrier. This is probably my third favorite blaster that I own. If I had to choose between buying this and the Saber Apex Prime, I would personally buy the Diana. I could go out, buy a Diana, and buy the Harrier, and I would still be under the price of a Saber Apex Prime. And that's with the battery and everything else. This, with that, would be so much better than having one Apex Prime, in my opinion. Although the Saber Apex Prime is a great blaster, these are personally the ones I would recommend. The Diana is an incredible blaster, as I've been saying. I absolutely love it. And would I recommend this blaster? If it's in your price range, absolutely. But that does wrap up my overall review on this blaster. If you do have any questions on anything, please leave it in the comment section below. If you have anything else you want to see, please let me know. I do plan on getting a GoPro or something in the future, so I will be able to review, or so I will be able to have some gameplay footage in my videos soon, hopefully. I will let you guys know more about that when I get to it. But during the winter time, I highly doubt I'm going to have many Nerf videos coming out, so I'll probably switch to some of my other hobbies, such as Beyblade or Legos or other things of the sorts. So if you do have anything you want me to review, please put it down in the comment section below. Otherwise, this is JD Geeks signing off. I'll see you in the next one.